Hi, I just got out of the shower and I've come across another little bit of Obama and Whitehouse related insanity, and that is the swapping of the 5 prisoners in Guantanamo for 1 American soldier. Now, I have no doubt that Private Bergdahl is a very important man to his friends and his family, and I commiserate with them the fact that he was captured. But there is a lot of trumpeting in the media, and they're all calling him Sergeant Bergdahl. But let's get this right. When he was captured, he was not a sergeant. When he was captured, he was a private, a grunt in the infantry. You don't get a lot lower in the infantry than that. Now, suddenly he's been promoted to sergeant during his captivity for whatever reason. I mean, this might be American standard procedure, I don't know. But the White House, unilaterally, because they are supposed to consult Congress on anything like this, they decided that they were going to release some people and exchange them for Private Bergdahl, who is now Sergeant Bergdahl. Now let's have a look at who it is they exchanged. Were these just 5 random jihadists that they exchanged? Were they people who were extremely unlikely to be a thorn in the side to America and indeed the rest of the West? Were they just ordinary jihadists? No. For this single American, who is really a private, because although he's been promoted to sergeant, he's never acted as a sergeant. I mean, you look at the 5 people that they've released. I mean, we'll start off with Mullah Mohammad Fawzi, who was in fact the Taliban Army Chief of Staff, and he's wanted by the UN for war crimes, including the murder of thousands of Shiite Muslims. And he's been associated with a whole bunch of terrorist groups currently opposing the US and coalition forces, and they include Al-Qaeda, the Islamic movement of Uzbekistan, and various other anti-coalition militia groups. Now, he is the Taliban's most experienced military commander, and we release him in exchange for a private? Sorry, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. So let's scroll down this page a minute. I've got a page that I've put up. I can't quite see what I'm doing, so the next one is Mullah Nurullah Nouri, and he also is a senior Taliban military commander, and like Fawzi, Nouri is wanted by the United Nations for war crimes, including the murder of thousands of Shiite Muslims, and he fought alongside Al-Qaeda as a Taliban military general against the alliance. Then we'll try Abdul Haq Wasik. Now he is the Taliban Deputy Minister of Intelligence, and he was the one who arranged for Al-Qaeda members to provide crucial training prior to 9/11. Now Wasik Apparently it was central to the Taliban's efforts to form alliances with other fundamentalist groups. And it goes on. You've got Khairullah Kawa, and he's actually the Taliban governor of a province in Afghanistan, the westernmost province. And he executed sensitive missions for Mullah Omar. He's thought to have been a major drug trafficker and deeply in bed with Al-Qaeda. And he's overseen Al-Qaeda training facilities. Then lastly you have Mohammed Nabi, who's a senior Taliban figure, and he served in multiple leadership roles. So these people that have been released, they're not just ordinary jihadists. And Obama has released them in exchange for someone who, in essence, is a private. Now you have to ask yourself, is this a good deal? And I have to say no. Not at all. And I'm very sorry for the family of Bo Bergdahl, but he should never have been swapped for these people. 5 normal jihadists, perhaps. But even then, it's still all wrong, because one of the US's proudest boasts is that it never negotiates with terrorists. Well, what have they just done? They've just negotiated with some of the largest terrorist organisations out to swap one relatively insignificant soldier for 5 military commanders. And you can't tell me that those 5 people are not going to carry on being a thorn in the side for America and for the rest of the West for at least the next 10 years. So this is all wrong, and once again Obama has acted illegally. He's acted against the US law. And it also raises the question, since 2 of them are wanted by the UN for war crimes, has he now transgressed the rules of the UN? Should he not, if he was going to surrender these people, have surrendered them to the UN for trial as war criminals? There's just so many things that this action of Obama's raises that are simply wrong. So that's my take on it. And once again, I apologise to Bo Bergdahl and his family and friends, but his release is probably going to cause an awful lot of problems for the West. But then maybe that is the plan. Maybe the plan is to refan and reignite the war on terror. Because at the moment, let's face it, there's not a lot of terrorist actions going on. They rounded up everyone that was capable of doing any large actions, really. So now they go and put 5 back. I wouldn't be surprised if something doesn't kick off in the next few months. Anyway, see you soon.